Okay, this is vlog number 11, and in it I'm going to talk about the WannaCry virus. Okay, so I know nothing about computers or viruses or even this story. I've read 2 articles on the BBC website and that's it. I'm going to make a video about it anyway. Okay, so the official story is like that it's criminals, a criminal gang, and the motive is to make loads of money by holding people's files to ransom for Bitcoin payments. Okay, so that's the official story, but this video is going to be just me imagining some alternative paranoid conspiracy explanations. Okay, so one possible explanation is that it's a training exercise, it's like a military training exercise. Okay, so if you think of the Americans and their satellite system, one thing that they did is they had some guys, some of their tech guys, and they put them out into civilian life, and they said, all right, we want you to just using things that are available, like on the high street or whatever, we want you to see if you can hack into our satellite system and jam it or whatever. And I think one of the guys managed to actually do this just with stuff that he bought from normal shops and things, and using a laptop or something, and he managed to hack into the American satellite communication network for the military. It was something like that anyway. And obviously operations like that do happen, and it's a really good thing for security. So if we see the American military, if they hadn't done that, then this vulnerability that they had in their satellite system would still be there, and perhaps some enemy state or enemy group or terrorist or whatever could have exploited that. Okay, so the benefit of such a training exercise is obviously huge. So perhaps this thing here could be similar. It could be a training exercise. I mean, I'm not sure which country it would be. There's a lot of countries involved, but let's just take, for example, Britain. Okay, they were affected quite strongly by it. I think the n.h.s or whatever. This is just based on the BBC article, so obviously the BBC are going to talk about Britain, so maybe it wasn't just Britain. But what if the Ministry of Defence had been sitting there having a meeting and decided that one of the biggest threats to England is cyber attack? So what they might do is send some guys out and go, right, we want you to see if you can kind of mock attack England and with a cyber virus, and we can then learn from that about our vulnerabilities and maybe strengthen them. So yeah, perhaps it was that. And one thing that would obviously have to be done if they were going to do such a thing is there'd have to be a kill switch on the weaponized virus. So this article, it did say that some English guy or British guy had managed to stop the virus dead in its tracks by opening a domain name for £10 or something, because there was there was something that the virus did where it checked a domain name, and for some reason, I don't know anything about viruses, but there was some reason why it did this, and by him actually opening the domain name, it stopped this virus, which was more or less destroying the n.h.s or whatever, and holding everyone's files to ransom. So that could have been something that they put in so that they could pull the plug if it got out of hand, and maybe it started to get out of hand. So if that is what was happening, I don't think again that that's a bad thing. I think that it's a good thing, because it's the upshot of it is that as a result of this attack, Britain would learn where its vulnerabilities are, and then it could patch them up. So an enemy organisation would have less ability to cause real genuine havoc for Britain. Okay, so what other explanations could there be? It could be partly that it was I believe that there will be a kind of IMF government friendly Bitcoin version coming out at some point, and perhaps this was an operation to get Bitcoin into the minds of the general public. So get everybody like talking about Bitcoin, and also to demonize it as well, so that maybe eventually like the public will say, well, look, we want you to make Bitcoin illegal, which would more or less kill off Bitcoin very quickly and lay the field open to introduce the official like IMF regulated version. Okay, so that's another one. Let's go back to it being like a military exercise. Okay, so other than it being like a training exercise, perhaps it was an actual exercise by say the Ministry of Defense to influence politics, okay, to actually improve safety of the country. So maybe the military have been like saying to they've got their strategists, and they've sat down and they've like decided, hang on, like we're really in a dangerous situation here. Our infrastructure is like really open to attack, just from like simple cyber viruses, and perhaps like the government isn't listening to them, and it's not like funding the n.h.s n.h.s guys enough, like to have, I don't know, secure computer networks and all this kind of stuff, and the military, because it's their job to do this, they can see that this puts Britain in danger, and what they could then do is do such a kind of a dry run cyber attack like this, just to show the politicians and stuff, like for real, how vulnerable we are, and then hopefully as a result the politicians, with the backing of the public too, would like listen to them and allocate the funds necessary to make Britain safer from cyber attack. Okay, so we'll go right off in the deep end into the woo land, and that could be that the whole thing is some kind of strange psychological manipulation exercise. Okay, so why would I say that? I'd say because of the name. The name is like Wanna Crypt, and like, was it like We Cry or something? So yeah, if you believe in like strange psychological experiments and manipulation and stuff like that, like mass hypnosis or manipulation of the shared psyche of humanity and stuff for whatever reason, like maybe that would explain the use of this really emotive name for the virus, like Wanna Cry, and that gets repeated again and again in the media, and it basically, if you repeat something, it will go into people's minds and maybe have an effect, and maybe there's a little bit of a research program going on. So I'm not saying that any of this is the explanation. The most likely explanation is probably the one the BBC had, but hopefully these paranoid conspiracy things have been a bit more interesting. One other thing I'd like to say, like if it is like even if it is real and it is like criminals or something, I don't think they would be making the money with it being Bitcoin, okay, with the actual payments. I think the motive could be larger. It could be something like that they would buy options in things like Microsoft or whatever, or in other parties that would profit from this, like maybe cyber security companies and stuff like that. They could go and buy loads of share options, like in-map stuff, then release this virus and then profit from it, because I'd imagine like this kind of things, this event's probably going to be good for the share price of things like Microsoft and for other cyber security companies. I don't know, maybe not. Alright, later. Okay, yeah, I missed out one other possible explanation. Okay, it could be that they, and by they I mean the Fabian like lizard overlords and Bill Gates, they want everybody for some reason on the same computer system, okay, so that they can do whatever it is that they need everybody to be on the same computer system to do. So this could be a way just to make sure that everybody updates, makes a move to Windows 10, or accepts the updates to the XP or the Windows 7 or whatever that are required for them to go forward with their diabolical plan, whatever that is. Okay.